what's going on, everybody? How you doing this Friday night, man? It's your boy DMV back with another one to start the huddle up. My guy Foots will be in around 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. He told me he'd be a little late, but that shouldn't stop us from talking a little bit of Cowboys football this Friday. I know my guy Mark was over there fired up, and I was over at Mark's channel for a little bit. Pretty much talking about a lot of things that's been going on. And as you guys know, being a Cowboys fan, it's pretty much a 24/7, 365 job. It never stops. There's always some news. There's always some stuff going on. I know today Jerry Jones had a lot to say on 105.3 The Fan, so we can kind of go over some of his comments. But essentially, it really sounded like Jerry seems to believe that the team has enough talent to win. And if you can kind of read between the lines, you can kind of hear him blaming the coaching along the way. And not just the coaching, but he had some choice words for Amari Cooper as well, being a guy making that type of money, and you're not getting the production out of him that you want. So now, again, Jerry Jones didn't say those things. I'm kind of paraphrasing. And if you guys want to go and check out the interview yourself and see if you can kind of piece some things together, I know that the DallasCowboys.com, their YouTube channel, they have it. And then I know 105.3 The Fan has it. But I wanted to make sure that I listened to it and formulated my own ideas. And essentially, I think one of my big issues with Jerry Jones, really more than anything, is the fact that we seem to be reactive at this point. You had to know at some point that if you do have a good team, that the turnover at the coach position would be something that you'd have to address. So I'm not saying that that's not what he's doing, but I know that he didn't really want to answer too many questions on 105.3 The Fan when it comes to improving the roster. How do we get better here, get better there? I think that the thing that Jerry really said was, those are some of the things you need to answer after week one. So again, another shot at the coaching staff. And, pretty much throughout his interview, he voiced his frustration. And yeah, a lot of people believe that Mike McCarthy is on the hot seat still. They don't believe that Mike McCarthy's job is safe. I don't know what to think. I'm not going to be one that's going to jump the gun. I'm not one of those news guys like that. I kind of just, I guess I'm like the front office. I just react to what's given. And at this point, the Cowboys, I don't know what to think really. Most teams, when they lose a playoff game, it kind of stops there. But when you got the Dallas Cowboys and you lose in the first round, they like the pride, and that comes with the territory. So, it's actually kind of funny and ironic that Jerry, when poked and prodded about certain things, he doesn't really want to answer. But he has to understand at this point, this is the beast that you built. This is the media frenzy that you built. This is your empire. So, at this point, you kind of got to, I'm not saying that you got to field these questions, but, you might not be ready, but understand that this is what you built, and people are, we have questions. I have questions myself. I'm one that believes that the coaching staff is a big reason as to why we're not playing this weekend. It's gonna feel pretty lonely for us Cowboy fans this weekend, not playing football and watching other teams play, especially with it being maybe teams that we're better than. And now I know some of the things that Jerry talked about earlier was the fact that, okay, sure, we have a struggling offensive line. If you look across the league, there are teams with worse situations, and they're finding a way to win. There are teams with lesser rosters that are still playing this weekend. And for one time, I actually agree with a lot of what Jerry said. The problem is, my guy, you're at the helm. You can control that. Us fans, the people that are in this comment section right now, we can't control it. But you can kind of control who's coaching, you're complaining about your own hires at this point, my guy. You know. So let me answer some questions in the chat. Let's get it popping, man. Uh, what's going on, Amanda Brown? How are you? Appreciate you. Happy Friday. Joseph Logan, what's going on? Appreciate you. Angelica Barone, how you doing out there? I see you on everything. I see you on Twitter. I see you on YouTube. I see you on Mark's channel. You are somebody that I would consider a loyal day oneer. Appreciate you. Let's see, Joseph. Do I think Jerry's going to fire McCarthy? I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, and I'm not going to sit here and try, because with Jason Garrett, I thought Jason Garrett would come back, and he didn't. And this kind of mirrors how Jason Garrett left last year, where they decided that they wanted a coach, and Jason Garrett ended up staying and helping. So it's kind of weird. Jason didn't even clean out his desk. So I really can't call it. Dallas, they operate much differently than other places. So it's really hard for me to call whether or not he's going to get fired. Amanda Brown, I think this is a prove it. Then if he screws up, Mike is gone. Probably. I mean, that kind of makes sense, Let's see. Who do you think? Who do I think we hire for OC from in-house? I think if we hire an OC, I don't think it'll be in-house. I think they'll go and find somebody. And if it's not that, then Mike McCarthy probably runs your offense if he's still the head coach. Vince Lopez, have I seen Kurt Warner's breakdown of the Cowboys game? I have not, but I can imagine how predictable it is. I mean, and that's sad, you know what I mean? And I know Aikman had some comments about some of the things Dallas should be doing, and that's coming from Kurt Warner, that's coming from Troy Aikman, some respectable minds when it comes to football. Guys that have been to the big show, guys that have won the big show. So, I mean, you have to respect their opinions when it comes to those type of things. And if they're saying it and we're thinking it, where there's smoke, there's fire, man. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Joseph Logan says, do I think we should make Dan Quinn the head coach? I mean, I wouldn't mind it. I knew that the Saints game, it felt a little different. I felt like our team went out with some urgency. I thought we fought. I thought tooth and nail. I thought it was gritty. I thought he held things together pretty well. And for the most part, you can see that the guys gravitate towards him. And what I like, did I feel like we became a defensive team throughout the year? I do feel like we became a defensive team. And with Dan Quinn as a head coach, that was one thing that, I fought Mark on last year. Like, why did Dan Quinn get this special treatment to become our defensive coordinator? Because he felt in Atlanta, as a head coach. But he didn't always fail in Atlanta. When things were successful, who did he hire? He hired Kyle Shanahan. So you have to believe that if he is the head coach, he's going to put the team in the best position with hiring an offensive guy that's going to help Dak Prescott and the offense grow. We have entirely too much talent on the offensive side to, for one, not have any identity, and for two, to not have the success that we should be having. I mean, not having an identity is crazy. If you look at the team that just beat us, San Francisco, they had way less than we did on offense, but they made sure that they did a couple of things. They got the ball in their playmakers' hands, and they really created a game plan as to where it was really hard for Jimmy G to mess it up. I would have loved, and I said that, going into the game, I was like, I really don't need Dak to be a hero. I just want Dak to make good decisions. I don't need him to throw for 300, 400 yards. But the offense needed to be cohesive, and we needed to execute our game plan, and we didn't do that. Amanda Brown says, how do we fix the O-line? I think it starts with knowing what you're going to do offensively. So if Kellen Moore is not going to be here, we need to get an OC ASAP. That's your first priority, is to get an offensive coordinator. Second, the offensive coordinator has to Get us a line coach in here, or really work with Philbin to make sure that our development of these young guys that are going to come in here, because there's going to be some young guys that come in, that the development plan is in place, that we have somebody that's an O-line coach that can develop young talent, because we're going to have to, I'm not going to say we have to rebuild the O-line. Like I said, there are teams that have worse O-lines and they're still winning, but we have to put a plan in place. We have to have somebody here that's going to be that's going to have this unit work as a cohesive unit, because that's where we struggled this year. The offensive line was not a cohesive unit altogether, all five, and that's what I'm starting to see every year. That's where the O line is regressing, because they're not working as a unit as much. Why is that? Could be your center, could be Biotish. Travis Frederick was a guy who could kind of, get the guys. He made all of the calls up front. Travis Frederick was not only great at his position, but he was a guy that led by example. So he was sorely missed, and we definitely, while Biotish had flashes last year, it was really apparent that he might not be the guy at center. And that's one of the things that I tried to tell Mark on his channel, was that I feel like the interior is definitely the priority. And I say that because that's the last time that this unit worked cohesively. So, and that's the word of the day: cohesive. As a unit offensively, we weren't cohesive, but it starts up front. It starts at the O line. So, let me see some of the. Vince Lopez says we need to draft a guard, a center on offense, and big interior defensive line and linebackers. I don't think you can go wrong with that. I really don't. The only thing about it is, how many young guys are you going to start on the offensive line? You got to kind of think about that as well, because just plugging in a rookie guard and the center right next to each other, you got to think about that. Is McGovern ready to take the next step? Because obviously he struggled in beating out Connor Williams this year, but a good center might make him better. And we saw that with Travis Frederick as you inserted him. It almost seemed like you could plug anybody at left guard and we would be okay. That's not so much the case, because Biotish has to worry about his own self. So let's see. I had this thought: what if we bring Chris Richard back as DC, because him and Dan Quinn work together at Seattle, and both can bring that energy? Nah, I'm good on that, honestly. I would like either. I think we should go in house, or I think we should go Georgia Edwards or Joe Witt. Honestly, if that's the case, or there's some better defensive coordinators out there than Chris Richard. I know Chris Richard was. I could be wrong, but I know he's over with the Saints. But you got guys like Fangio, who pretty much exposed us in that Denver game. You got Brian Flores out there. You got Mike Zimmer just got fired. So there's some guys out there that I think that are really good candidates, and I think you can walk away with the best candidate by competition with the way that things are sorting out. So just because Dan Quinn might be leaving doesn't mean we can't get somebody in here that can get us going. And knowing that Micah Parsons is the generational talent that we possibly think he could be, it might not be a bad thing because coaches will want to coach a guy like that, because he's probably somebody that could go down in history. Joseph Logan, I think we should draft a left tackle and bring in the veteran center. The problem is, man, I've started looking, and right as I was talking to Mark, because I think that this draft is probably better at the top from interior, but I really don't like the left tackles that I'm looking at right now. I don't think that they're day one ready right now as far as technique and stuff goes. Now, again, I'm going to do a deep dive, and you guys know that I do deep dives and stuff when I do my draft talk. But so far from what I've seen, and I've started from the top, I don't really like these left tackles like that. Some of the guards and stuff, though, the center out of Iowa, a little small, but he's pretty solid. I think it's Lindenbaum. I think that's his name. But yeah, I think that the draft, you're probably more than likely going to find an interior guy that can plug and play day one, better than probably a tackle. Let's see, Pickle Rick. Do you think McCarthy lost the team after his little interview? Also, do you think Jerry will pull the trigger? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know if he lost the team. You know, it's really hard to say. But I do think if you're asking, will Jerry pull the trigger? Absolutely, Jerry will pull the trigger. Absolutely. But I think what Jerry's doing, which is a smart thing, Jerry's letting things play out, and Jerry's not letting emotions get the best of him. So if you guys, paid attention to his interview, sure he was upset, but he answered things in a way that he didn't allow his emotions to get the best of him because he knew that there was going to be crazy soundbite, and he got out there what he wanted to get out there. So Jerry's just as much of a politician as he is an owner and a GM. So I think he got the message out there, that our fan base deserves better and that this team should have done better. But I mean, honestly, do we deserve better? I mean, at the end of the day, either your team is good or they're not. Sure, we haven't won in 20 some odd years, but I'm one that believes winning is earned. And, based on the product that we saw last week, this team wasn't ready. So, sure, we're ready to win. All right, cool. I want to win. I hate losing. I hate the fact that our team isn't playing. But that product, those guys, and how they came in from the playoffs, this team wasn't ready. They didn't deserve jack. We deserve exactly what we got. Our butt at home. See, do we need to go back to past coaches because I think that might can hurt us? All right, there's one past coach that I have been talking to a couple of my Cowboys compadres about. Um, One coach that I would possibly call back to see, if I'm Mike McCarthy, right? If I'm Mike McCarthy, and I know Kellen Moore's gone, the guy that I call up is Bill Callahan. Why Bill Callahan, you ask, right? Well, for one, Bill Callahan is a West Coast guy, but more than anything, Bill Callahan harps on getting the run game going. And the type of offensive line we do have, we can run effectively, in my opinion. I think that the run schemes were garbage. That's just what I believe. I think that they were simplistic. I think that we didn't detail enough, or I don't think we tried hard enough to scheme the run to be better. One thing that I do know about Bill Callahan is no matter who you have on the offensive line, our team will be able to run the football. We will develop young talent. I loved Bill Callahan with his time in Dallas, and I know that Jason Garrett and Scott Linehan kind of forced his hand for him to leave. But in my opinion, the offensive line has not been the same since Bill Callahan left. And Bill Callahan, I pretty much architected and got these guys to perform at the highest level that they've ever performed at, and they did it as a unit. So a guy that I would call possibly to see if he was interested in coming back for OC position is about Bill Callahan. And one thing we do know about Bill Callahan is that he has gotten to the Super Bowl as a coach. It was a while ago, but he called the offense. Sure, you could say Gruden knew all of the calls and all that type of stuff, but I know that Bill Callahan will get the run game back to where we needed to get to, and then the weapons on the outside will speak for itself. But yeah, let's see. Angelica says, in which we need desperately a run game again. Yes, we definitely do. I think we gave up on the run too early very often. And it's not just that, but we never tried to adjust. And even week to week, I still don't see really where we did anything to really get an identity going on the ground. I just don't see it. Pickle Rick says, I'm praying for Kellen to get a job somewhere. Me too, but me too, boss. Me too. Yeah, definitely. So some of the things that I wanted to talk about today, and we got a couple of minutes. We got probably about maybe 10 minutes before my guy Foots gets on. I wanted to talk about free agents, the guys that are going to be free agents for the Cowboys this upcoming agency cycle, which, I'm going to share my screen real fast. So I looked up on overthecap.com. You guys know that that's one of my favorite, that's one of my favorite sites to go to. Let's see, Chrome tab. Yeah. So it's one of my favorite places to go to. And so we're here now. And here are our free agents for this upcoming season. A lot of them are on the defensive side of the ball. So we got Keanu Neal, who's void, but I believe Keanu Neal could come back. Leighton Vander Esch is an unrestricted free agent. All these guys are UFAs, actually. Cedric Wilson, Carlos Watkins, Ty Nishiki. I don't know how to say his name. I'm a butcher as well. Brent Urban, who had a short season, but he was doing pretty well with us. Connor Williams, where we thought maybe they might have to make a decision, but what we're looking at in the draft, it's possible that you could find his replacement. Maurice Kennedy, we liked him in camp, but I think we can get by without him. J-Ron Kurtz, this right here is a priority to me. This guy right here is a priority. DeMonte Casey. He wasn't terrible. He was much better than the safeties we had previously. Noah Brown, I could do without Noah Brown. The long snapper, you got to sign him, Jake McQuaid. The punter, you definitely got to sign him. This is another priority guy right here because this guy right here flipped field position more than he really was a almost an MVP for us this year, definitely. Randy Gregory, that's a decision to make. But I think that a lot of that has to do with D-Law's contract. Corey Clement, I think you probably could draft a running back, honestly. But I like Corey Clement. And if you don't draft a running back, he's somebody that you could look at, bringing back. But I think Corey did a very good job on special teams and a little bit of times that we sprinkled him in there. Malik Turner. I think Malik Turner was starting to turn the corner a little bit. He's a young guy that out there, he's probably not going to demand a whole bunch on the market. You might be able to bring Malik Turner back. And he was building a little bit of rapport with Dak Prescott in the offense. Malik Hooker. It really just depends. A lot of these one-year guys, it really depends on who the defensive coordinator is going to be coming in here. So while I'm saying J-Ron Kurtz is a priority, I think he's a priority because he's a guy that understands tight ends, and he did a very good job against tight ends this year. He did a very good job against tight ends this year. Michael Gallup. That's a tough one because, he got the ACL injury, so you probably can sign him for the cheap. And you know that Dak Prescott trusts him. The team loves him. So you might be able to bring Michael Gallup back for a team-friendly deal. Dorrance Armstrong. That's tough, man. Because, see, that's another one. You got to free up some money somehow. Dorrance Armstrong was starting to turn the corner. Towards the end of the year, Dorrance Armstrong got better. So it's kind of tough. It's like, do you bring him back for a second contract or do you, sign another edge? I think Dorrance is. I think you should sign him back and see what he got, man. Not saying that you got to sign him to a major deal or anything like that, but you got to keep something there because you're going to lose an edge, whether it's Randy Gregory or you decide to send D-Law packing. Somebody on the edge has to stay there. Dalton Schultz, in my opinion, now I could be wrong, but I think even though Dalton Schultz had a career year, he had a solid year, I think we could get better there. We possibly could get better in the draft. Dalton Schultz might command a lot of money on the market. We're already paying Blake Jarwin a pretty hefty salary for nothing. So it's like, how much money do you want to tie up at the tight end position when neither one of them can help us in the run game? You got to ask yourself that question. And for me, it's a no, dog. I would rather get the comp pick because I know somebody out there is going to sign Dalton Schultz and he's going to be a starter, and you get your comp pick. That's where I am with that right now. It could change tomorrow. It could change when I go through these draft prospects and I don't really see a tight end that I feel like can fit as day one. But Francis Bernard, Luke Gifford, these are guys that I would like to come back for the cheap. I would like to bring those guys back. They're good on specials. I thought Luke Gifford, in the times that we had to sprinkle him in, I thought he was pretty solid. And I think that he's growing, and I like him. And he's also a restricted free agent. And then Mitch Hyatt. And that's where we are with that, man. Let me go back to the comments because once I went off and I shared the screen, I couldn't really see what you guys were saying. What does void mean? So I think he has a voided year on his contract. So I think it's up to them to really sign him to another deal, or he can play out that year. It might have just been a buffer so that they can, get under the salary cap or something like that. But I mean, Neal, you could go with him. You could go not. I think linebackers are need regardless. So, I mean, it's not that big of a deal if we don't have him. Joseph Logan says we need J-Ron Curse. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, Curse needs to stay. Joseph Logan says, I want to draft James Cook. I gotta look and see who that is again. I know I'm the draft guy, but I was so into this year. I was so invested into what was going to happen with us this year that I purposely didn't look at any draft prospects because I felt like I would be doing the Cowboys fans a disservice by talking draft while we're still in the hunt for a Super Bowl. Hooker can stay. Yeah, I mean, Hooker, I liked Hooker. KZ, if I had to pick between the two, I would rather have Hooker. Pickle Rick says Schultz going to be expensive anyways. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with him, man. Like at this point, none of the guys that we bring back, besides maybe Randy Gregory, needs to be somebody that's expensive. J-Ron Curse might end up being a little bit more expensive than you want him to be. That's why I said make him the priority. Is he going to demand top safety money? I don't think he had the turnovers or the interceptions to really do that. But you might have to pay him some money. Now let's talk about Vander Esch. I know a lot of people don't like Vander Esch, and I understand it, but he started playing better towards the end of the year, number one. And then number two, Micah Parsons and him worked pretty well together. They worked pretty hand in hand. I think Leighton Vander Esch was kind of showing them the ropes. And Leighton Vander Esch was somebody that, I mean, you can trust him to know his assignments and stuff in the middle. So if Leighton Vander Esch goes out and tests himself on the market and it's not what he thinks it is, or like any of us think, we don't think that the market's going to be very high for Leighton Vander Esch. Do you bring Leighton Vander Esch back? And for me, I'm thinking you're trying to offer him a deal that's respectable, but that's not even anywhere close to top linebacker money because he's not a top linebacker. Leighton Vander Esch is about a middle of the pack linebacker, but he's great in the locker room. The guys love him, and I do think you can win games with Leighton Vander Esch. I think he helps you more than he hurts you. You know what I'm saying? So for me, hold on, my guy Foots just texted me real fast. Okay, so he should be coming in pretty soon, guys. But yeah, Leighton Vander Esch, middle of the pack linebacker. I think that I try and let Leighton Vander Esch test the market. That's what I would do. And once he sees it's not what he thinks it is, and you got that comfy home in Dallas. I mean, I would like to have Leighton Vander Esch back, but if he gets a deal that he can't turn down, then by all means, my guy, many blessings, and we'll see you down the road. That's a guy that I was really iffy on. And me and my guy Clarence, if you guys are familiar with Mark Chandler, you might know who Clarence is. Me and Clarence talk about these things every day. He was the one who pointed out to me that Leighton Vander Esch has been playing better. And, I looked, and he definitely has been playing a little better towards the end of the year. Much better than he was playing towards the middle of the year. But I'm not breaking the bank for Leighton Vander Esch. He's not a priority to me. He's a guy that, I mean, Leighton Vander Esch probably would be like 15th on the list of the things that I need to do. Maybe not. Shoot, he might not even be 15. He might not even make the top 20. So I'm gonna open it up. I'm gonna open up the phone lines real quick before Foots gets on, and hopefully we can see if I can take a couple calls before Foots gets on. Here's the phone number right here, guys. Here's the phone number. I'm gonna unshare my screen, and I'm going to open up the line. So I'm going to open up the line to you guys tonight. So right now, I'm the only participant in the conference. I'm going to turn the volume down. So yeah, feel free to call in. And, I'm going to try and keep the calls to, because last time I know that people were venting a little bit. But we'll try and keep it to maybe 2-minute calls or something like that. We'll try and keep it down. We're definitely, and you know what? I'm taking questions right now too. Let's go Q&A, because we're not going to talk coaches yet until my guy Foots comes here. Until Foots comes in, we're not going to talk coaches. But that is a hot subject right now. It is definitely a hot subject, talking the coaching carousel, and I definitely wanted to get Foots on here because we had some very interesting takes on the coaches. I kind of wish you guys could have been a fly on the wall for the conversation the other day on the phone that Foots and I had. A lot of it would have been stuff that a lot of people don't want to hear. But, if you're talking football, and we're talking football sense, and, that's what I like to do. There was a lot of things we left out there on the field this year. And it starts with the coach. It starts with the coaching. Samuel Rose says LVE about to get paid. I doubt it. I don't think LVE about to get paid like that. And if somebody pays him like that, they're a sucker. LVE, in my opinion, is probably right before camp signing. If I'm being 100% honest, I don't think LVE is a first day guy. He's probably a after the draft or right before the draft type of signing. Might be a right before the draft type of signing, but he's definitely not a first day guy. If he is, your GM might lose his job. Patrick Thompson says LVE makes business decisions. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you know what, Amanda? I don't like the way that I sound on these videos. Hell, I don't even like being on camera. But sometimes you got to jump out of your comfort zone. So come on and dial on in and dial in. Because look, Mark will tell you, I really don't like the camera. I really did not want to be the guy that is talking on live. I just wanted to do my videos. I just wanted to do my videos behind the screen and all of that type of stuff. But it is what it is. I think that, in talking to people and people seeing you and talking football a little bit, people can kind of get a grasp that you're not a bad guy or that you're not full of it and that you're not just out here talking. But yeah, I can't stand being on camera. I really can't. I'm really an introvert. I'm probably the most extrovert introvert there is. But it is what it is. How many other linebackers are out there? And see, that's the thing. the NFL now, with how the rules are, it has made it so that the linebacker position is like obsolete for the most part. You know, and with the draft, you could just go ahead and draft you young. Like you could treat the linebacker position almost like the running back position, where you could just kind of keep the talent coming in. And unless you're a generational talent and you demand that type of money, I mean, think about this, right? Think about the linebacker uh, group that came in last year with Micah Parsons, Nick. Dang, what is the guy's name in Kansas City? I forgot what his name is. Nick Bolton. Yeah, with Nick Bolton. There's another young linebacker out there that was balling. I forget, but the linebackers aren't losing talent when it comes from college to the NFL. But and that's the problem. There's so many young, hot linebackers coming out in the draft that you really, unless it's a generational talent, you don't got to keep them around. The Jets are targeting Schultz. Well, thank you, Jets. Go ahead and take him and let that be a comp pick for us. That would be a great comp pick for us somewhere down the road if the Jets were to pick him up because we know they're going to suck. Vince Lopez says we need Jabril Cox to come back healthy. He got hurt as soon as he got the starting job. Yeah, definitely, man. And Godspeed to him. I hope that because I was really excited about him. I was really excited about him and the strides that he was taking. Definitely. You mean pay $90 million for a linebacker? Oh, nope. I mean, well, who knows how good Micah will end up being? But hell, that might be the guy that you end up, signing to a whole bunch of money, in the future. Guys like that, you know what I'm saying? Even if you do that, like think about this, right? Like there's some game changer pass rushing linebackers out there right now that after getting paid like that, they haven't worked out. Von Miller being one of them. Hell, Von Miller, you'll see him playing this weekend. He got traded to the Rams. Patrick Thompson says, if Jarwin healthy, I think he's better. And just think about the key word there. If, if was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. Jarwin ain't never healthy. It is what it is. What happened to Israel Mukamu? I know that he played in the Eagles game. I believe he did, or he was on the active roster or something like that, and they had to drop him in order to bring somebody back for the playoffs. But I think that he's probably going to be somebody that they develop. The problem that comes with him is he's the prototype guy that Dan Quinn really likes in the defensive secondary. So with Dan Quinn leaving, if it's not anybody in-house, nobody knows what the plan is for him. So he could be a guy that gets lost in the shuffle at some point. Maybe he'll probably be on the team. Maybe he's on the team, maybe he's not. I don't know. But he's a guy that was a project, and he was a project for Dan Quinn. So that's going to be tough to figure out what happens with him going down the line. It'll be tough to figure out what happens with him and a couple of these other tweeners out there. So let's look at the draft. Let's look at the contract breakdown of cap space. So we'll go to the Cowboys. All right, I'm going to share my screen again. Oh, wait. Am I still sharing my screen? Can you guys see it? Let me know if you guys can see my screen. All right, so this is what we're looking at for next year. DeMarcus Lawrence, look at his contract. Mari Cooper. You're going to have to make a decision about what to do with D-Law. D-Law, Tyron Smith. I think Zeke is pretty safe. Unless you do a post-June cut. And we could probably just, even with that, you're not really You're not saving anything towards the cap, and then that's $18 million of dead money with Zeke. So I think we're kind of stuck with Zeke. As far as DeMarcus Lawrence goes, though, $8 million in dead money, but you save $19 million towards the cap. Amari Cooper, $2 million, but you save 20. Like that, those are some decisions you can make, and I think Jerry will make this decision with Amari Cooper right there. Tyron Smith, 4, and you save $13 million if he's a post-June cut. Lyle Collins, you save $10 million, $5 million in dead money. So if you feel like they're dead weight like that, and just depending on how you draft, I mean, there's some money that can be saved. There's some money that can be saved. So it's all right. Here we go. Yeah. So here we go. Sorry about that. So here we go right here. This is what I was talking about. So if we look at the cut post June 1st, which Cowboys are a heavy draft team, so we base a lot of our operation on what we do in the draft. And so this DeMarcus Lawrence, Amari Cooper, Tyron Smith, those are areas that we can attack if we need to sign some of our defensive talent back. Lyle Collins as well. So I think that the key guys we should be looking at are Lyle Collins, Amari Cooper, Tyron Smith, and DeMarcus Lawrence as far as where we could go get money if we need to cut some guys. Now, Amari Cooper to me is a little tough because unless you got a receiver that you got coming in here that you decide that you want to take in the first round, that just takes the top off and you're ready to make CD just your number one, it's really hard for you to cut Amari Cooper, in my opinion. DeMarcus Lawrence, though, we've shown throughout most of this year that we can handle our defense without having D-Law. You know what I'm saying? We definitely showed that. I got my guy Foots the King. He just popped up, and I'm going to add him to the stream.
What's up, homie?
What's going on, my guy? What's going on, Foots?
What's up, man? How you be, man?
And pretty good, man. Pretty good. How you doing, man? How you doing on this Friday night?
I'm good, man. It's been a crazy day in Cowboys land. Man, that's a lot to unpack for sure.
Yeah, definitely, man. So before we jump into the coaching talk, man, what were your thoughts on Jerry Jones? His pretty much what Jerry Jones said.
It's not a ringing endorsement really for anybody.
I
don't think there's one player. Jerry was hot.
Sounded like us, didn't he? Sounded like us the other day.
yeah. Me and you had a good conversation, John. And the truth is, Jerry should be hot because the thing that he said the most to me was what I tweeted out was, you had everything you needed to win this game, and that's what I wanted to hear. Jerry's very realistic, right, Jay? And the truth is, we've had teams that have had deficiencies. This was a better roster than San Francisco's roster, and you didn't get the job done. And so what it sounds like to me is, dog, somebody got to pay.
Definitely. And so did you take it like I did, where I just felt like he put a lot of the onus on the coaching?
Yeah, and I don't think it's all on coaching. I don't. Like, I do think that a lot of the onus is on the coaching, but I don't think that it's all on coaching. I think that some of it's on coaching, but not all of it.
Okay, could you elaborate on that a little bit? Because I kind of know what you're going to talk about, but,
So, when I'm looking at a quarterback like Dak Prescott, who, and I got to start with the Q. With me, I don't hold no bones on this channel, your channel, Twitter. I call it what it is, bro. My channel. I call it what it is. I'm not one of these people that is so in love with the quarterback that I can't, to be honest, that I can't keep it real. And the truth is, Dak didn't play well. To the point to where it's like you all right. Let me put it like this, John. Because me and you coach. You're a successful high school coach. I'm a successful youth coach. At some point, you look at it and say, "Hey, man, Johnny can't get it done," and that's not a knock. I think people look at that when we say that Dak can't do certain things. People automatically get defensive.
Yeah.
And that's not a knock. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's you're asking him to do stuff that you would ask a Josh Allen to do.
Mm-hmm.
Throw
Yeah.
30, 40. You know, Josh Allen throws upwards of 40 times a game. He has literally the arm strength and the built-in body to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Mahomes and Herbert. These guys were also first-round picks with the arm strength to do so. I'm not saying Dak has terrible arm strength, but he doesn't have the arm control of those guys. Those are your thoroughbreds. Let's be honest, bro. Like, he was a fourth-round pick for a reason. Not saying he's a bad quarterback. People think this and they say he's not a bad quarterback. But I'm not asking Dak Prescott to push the ball down the field 30 times, 30, 40 plus times. 35 plus times, no. I'm
No,
just not
I
asking him to do
agree.
it.
Did you see that? Did you see that clip of Josh Allen making that throw where he just kind of flicked the wrist? Did I send it to you the other day? Where it was like it was a tight window, but he just flicked his wrist and he threw it, and I was like, "Yo, Dak's not making that throw." And
Josh got a rocket, bro. And it's not you're not knocking
yeah,
Dak. It's just you have to put these guys where they belong. Drew Brees never had a big arm. He was in a perfect scheme and system.
yeah.
Drew can't throw the ball. I mean, he was accurate. He was all about timing and throwing people open.
And that comes back to your coach. That comes back to the coach a little bit too, though, because Sean Payton knew what he could do and how he can make things successful
Knew the
around.
player. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what we talked about with Kellen Moore, where it's like, hey, we know he can't do these type of things, but we're asking him to put everything on his back, and that's just not who he is. No knock on him. I think Dak is a top 10 quarterback, definitely a top 10 quarterback. But if you're asking him to go out there and rifle it like Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady, or hell, Joe Burrow. I'll say Joe Burrow, because hell, I saw Joe Burrow do some things the other day that I know Dak can't do.
The difference, so covering Joe's one of my favorite players at LSU. I'm a closet LSU college fan, but I really just cover players. What Joe does so well that, and again, you're not knocking Dak, but he's so sneaky and groovy in the pocket. And you talk about an offensive line that ain't clean. You're talking about the Bengals, but those little steps, those little subtle movements, keeping his eyes down the field. You coach quarterbacks. You've called plays. If you got a cue that his eyes are always dropping or he's not gonna let the play develop, it hurts, man. And now some of that could be, hey, man, this guy's he didn't trust the line, and I get that. But it goes back to Jerry's point, man. You had enough. You had enough. I don't want to hear anything else, but we didn't get it done.
Yeah, facts. And I also look at it like this, right? Because you call plays and I call plays. Aren't there certain guys that you can call a play, but the play is like they know what you're doing, or they have the perfect scheme dialed up, and you got certain guys that can just make a play even though things are tight, windows are tight.
In spite of.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's where when people talk about Dak and they say things got to be perfect around him, that's what they mean. And now I understand it, because I was a guy that fought it for so long. But I look at that playoff game and I'm thinking all of the excuses that came out where it was just like the O-line is trash. Hell, San Francisco line really wasn't really all that. Like you said, the Bengals, the Chiefs line is trash. That's what Jerry was talking about today. He legit was talking about.
Jerry really went in depth about we're better than a lot. We have better personnel than some of the teams playing.
Yeah, definitely. So sometimes it really comes down to, like, because I put the loss heavily on Kellen Moore first and then Dak Prescott second. I put it
as you know, and you can flip flop it, but here's why I hate to say this, but I was never sold on Kellen, and I'm on record. I knew Kellen didn't have an understanding of play calling when he was doing things like running jet sweep, or he would run jet 20 in, like the 20 going in.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, like I know that's just not enough field to run a play like that. You can't counter off of it. You really have, you know, it's just not enough field. Some of the designs he would run in the red area made no sense to me,
But
especially
it
with the
worked and
personnel
it
that you
looked cool
had.
because it was against bad teams.
Right, and yeah, some of it was fun. Yeah, against bad teams. But guess what? When you play a team that's fast flowing like San Fran, has a well coached D line like San Fran, that stuff's not going to work. You're running the hook and ladder on the second drive of the game, or whatever that pass back. I mean, it's silly stuff, and this is what I've been. This has been my rant all week. It's not even the fact that, like, what play calling experience does Kellen have? Did he have high school? None.
Nope.
College? And it's one of those things that it's like, dog, until you've actually called plays for a team and been in certain situations and know how to keep people's composure. Yeah, he was handed I explain it to people like this. Kellen was handed a Mercedes and he's never driven a Camry. Like,
Facts.
come
Okay.
on, bro.
Okay.
Come on, man. It's levels.
Yeah, exactly. And then I think about this, right? If we're in a tough situation, right? We're on the road, or we're down by 3 and we need this drive to go ahead and win. What the hell can he tell Dak?
Bruh, come on.
What can he tell Dak?
What can you tell him in meetings? Hey,
Yeah.
you know that one time I was in when at
I was
Boise
at
State.
Boise State.
Come on, bro. Like, bro, we're not about to act like Boise State is SEC talent. Like, I'm not. That folks be easily fooled. Listen. I know what I'm talking about, bro. You know what you're talking about. If we talking about he called plays in the SEC, and he's he's developed quarterbacks and he got then that's why I said I wouldn't fire McCarthy. Number one, I don't think that McCarthy was ever. I think that McCarthy was told specifically,
Yeah,
you're not allowed to take over play calling.
I think that's a fair assessment. I think it is. I mean, we don't know what's happening, but it looked like that though, bro. It looked like that because Kellen was in place before McCarthy was, and McCarthy had to make that work. There was 2 things he had to make work. You got to make Kellen Moore work, and Dak is your quarterback. Those are the 2 things you can't touch.
Yeah, bro. And so, like you said, man, I just look at it and I say, yeah, and it's like make them work. But so, okay, this is what I said. Okay, now watch this. JG gone. Dez gone. Soon Zeke will be gone.
Yeah.
Tyron
gonna be gone.
Tyron gonna be gone. So what's gonna happen is at some point, Dak gonna look around the room like that Will Smith. I mean, it's just gonna be you, Dak, and it's like, dog, you're gonna be the next domino to fall. So it may not be this year, may not be next year, but with this roster, even still, with this roster, you're good enough right now, John, to win the East. You will win the East next year, without question.
Because you don't have because there's not even a quarterback close to him in the NFC East.
That's what I'm saying.
Yet, because if somebody gonna make a play for Russell Wilson, it might be a little different.
Yeah.
For at least a year, you know what I'm saying? Until they lost all their draft capital and then they stink for however long. But it might make a difference for a year if Russell Wilson comes in to one of these teams, or Deshaun Watson possibly, Somebody, I mean, they have the capital, the Giants, Washington. I don't know about Philly, but the Giants of Washington have the capital to go ahead and make that splash and go get a quarterback.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, I think that Russ, I personally don't see Russ coming to I personally don't see Russ coming to the East. Maybe Philly, could attract him. I don't see any quarterback wanting to come to Washington. I just
Heck no.
I don't
Heck
see
no.
them. When I see quarterbacks that would want to come to Dallas with these weapons, but that's
But it
neither here
also
nor there.
depends. It also depends on who New York's coach is too.
Yeah,
Because one thing I was thinking, me and my boy, Clarence was talking. What if New York hired Bieniemy?
yeah,
You get what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like somebody gonna hire him, bro. It's gonna happen, eventually. And that's where your young quarterback or like a Russell Wilson would probably thrive like crazy with Dan Bieniemy. Like, oh, my wife can go over there and market her music. Like, and that's not we ain't the Giants show or nothing like that. But that was just to point out, like, the East is so bad that, like you said, the way that the roster is right now, we can still run away with the East.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You
No
will,
problem.
you will. You have enough. Um, you have literally everything you need. And like I just go back to is really and I'm just so I will say I'm proud of myself for not like Kellen Moore does design great plays, but it's so many people don't understand the difference between scheme, play design, play caller, and offensive coordinator. There's literally two. It's so many different things. And some teams, this, JG, you got to have a passing game coordinator. You have a running game coordinator. You have an
Yeah.
offensive coordinator. You have the play caller. You have schemes that are if we see this, no matter what, this is the play call. It was so many times in that game. I know, like me and you talked. If I see a corner off of CD 8 yards, butt to the sideline, eyes on the quarterback. We kind of know it's some type of cover, it's some type of zone, and it'll probably be cover 3, maybe cover 4. JG, you've done this for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm raising up with the athlete the CD is, and he's getting the ball right now.
Hell, I'm gonna throw it to him on a quick hitch. Here you go. Make
Yeah,
him miss. Make
it
him
makes
miss.
him. Yeah, scrap the play. We're gonna kill the play, and you know what? Hey, if they want to, let's say we're running inside zone and we got a pin and pull situation or whatever we got going on, they can still run that. Dak's gonna raise up and throw the football though to CeeDee Lamb because we're good in the box, and it's really a one-on-one situation with a lesser athlete with one of these corners. These guys can't tackle CeeDee Lamb. Now, once did you force and press the issue, and when we watch this weekend, you are going to see Aaron Rodgers get Devontae Adams at least 10 targets. I guarantee it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's no way in hell. And I say this to you guys because, see, they used the game plan. San Fran used the game plan that Arizona did, that Denver did. There is no way in hell they can play Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams that way. I guarantee you they're going to do something different.
Yeah, you're going to have to bracket him. You're going to have to take a guy out of the box. You're not yet. There's no way you're guarding him with one corner, 10 yards off the ball, or bailing on the snapper, trying this eye candy stuff. And then it was a lot like Denver just ran a lot of robbery in different ways. That's what I saw. And they had a really good safety in Justin Simmons, so they could do kind of some of that stuff. And Dak just wasn't accurate enough and didn't hit. And that game kind of, we were sleeping, but this thing that bothers me. The players and Dak, I gotta hold his feet to the fire. Dak says, "Oh, well, I hope the teams play us like this." Well, they did, and we couldn't win.
Yeah. 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 Absolutely. So let's get to the coaching, man. Let's get to the coaching situation right now. Dan Quinn is probably gone. Defensively, what do you do in your mind? Do you stay in house or do you hire one of these defensive coordinators that's out there?
That's a really good question, JG. I like Vic Fangio. People have argued me down. What I heard on Twitter was, let's get like a few people said, let's get some young blood in there. The problem with it is, I think defense is one of those things that calling plays at the NFL level defensively it's just like an offensive coordinator. It's one of those things that, like, hey man, I like these position coaches, But like we saw how it was when like Chris Richard had a lot of the influence on the defense.
Yeah.
It wasn't that great. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
It just wasn't. Versus when it was, Dan Marinelli. I mean, excuse me, yeah, when it was Marinelli, Rod Marinelli. Um, Rod had us in better position, those types of things. When Richard had his imprint, it was kind of, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so I like Vic because Vic knows personnel. He knows draft. He knows what you're looking for in some of these players. He'll bring a different attitude to some of these guys. Denver played really good defense this year. It was clearly that their offense just couldn't give them anything. And I think that he'll look, and it's been reported that he really liked Micah Parsons. And so
he's gonna be the draw to a lot of these defensive coordinators out there, which is a good thing. Finally, we got somebody that's a draw.
Oh yeah. I listen. And I don't know if you want to save this. I want to build a team around 11.
Oh yeah, definitely. We talked about that, and yeah, definitely. That's our guy. That's the face of the team.
Yeah, but to the coordinator point, Dan's gone. He should be. He took the worst. You happy for the guy? He took the worst defense and made it a top 10 defense. So Dan's gone for sure. So yeah, I think that I would probably go with a seasoned guy, just because
Yeah,
Mike Zimmer's teams always play good defense. Like Zimmer, Fangio. If you get one of these young guys in here who don't understand, quarterbacks, and Zimmer, he's been in a division with Rodgers. Zimmer is a really good defensive coordinator.
he is, bro. He is.
Zimmer, I don't care what anybody says. Mike Zimmer can call the defense.
Hell, he had us number one at one point when he was with us. Honestly, to this day, I still don't know why Bill Parcells went away from Zim.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's weird.
Yeah, to this day,
that's weird.
But yeah, I mean Zim, Flores.
Flores is another name.
Yeah,
I think Flores. I do think that Flores will get a head coaching job. Me personally.
Yeah, probably more than likely. I mean, he's a pretty good coach, man. He's a really good coach. He deserves better than what he got.
Yeah.
But it's exactly why Miami is Miami.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They're gonna find out soon because maybe they hire Kellen Moore or something. I hope somebody hires him, bro. I really do. And that brings me to Kellen Moore. Do you think Kellen Moore is back, or do you look to replace him regardless?
Dude, there's no way I'm bringing Kellen Moore back. What? He's the brunt of it all, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I was never sold on Kellen Moore ever. Fact. I was never sold on Kellen Moore, dog. Like, I think that over my 6 years of calling plays, the one thing I've learned. Well, actually, I was on a staff. I was coaching running backs. This really successful high level youth ball. JG.
Yes, sir. Yeah, my guy Foots is one of the best in the area. Y'all go check him out.
And so I coached running backs for 2 years. We had 6U, 7U. Then 8U, we went on a run. I was calling plays 9U. And now 10U, I'm at a different org, but I really have a grasp and I've done a lot. And I'm still learning. I talk to you about a lot of stuff, but I think it's so easy to forget simple, stupid, fast. Like, play simple at times. Be stupid as far as just dumb it down sometimes. It was so many times where we just didn't get in the I formation and just get downhill. Just gap scheme, just go downhill. There's so many times in the red area where we're going inside zone and you're going shotgun at the 4-yard line. So you're bringing the ball back 4 yards to try to run straight. Those little things, to me, when you got a back like Zeke, you don't have to overthink it. If you want to use Connor in the backfield and run downhill, just do that. But we're going to watch. This is what's going to bug me. We're going to watch the Titans tomorrow just play simple football.
Oh my God, dude! If you got, hey guys, when I talk about combo blocking and scheme, nobody does it better than Tennessee.
Bruh.
Nobody.
Old school football, baby. Tennessee ain't out there trying to be cute. They're
Heck no.
not, bruh. Physical. Knock you off the ball. They dog. And this is what I mean by coaches overthink it and they overthink players. Would anybody on this stream say Tannehill's a better player than Dak? Probably not.
No.
But guess what? Tannehill has been to an AFC championship with lesser names. Like, come on, man. Come on. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Facts. It's the truth. And I know what people will say. They're gonna say, well, they have Derrick Henry. Zeke was like that at one point, y'all.
Bro, he was, bro.
Zeke was like that at one point, and we still ain't bust a great.
Ain't bust a great, man.
The offensive line was like that at one point, and we ain't bust a great.
Come on, man. Come on.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, it's sometimes it's a lot of what people don't want to hear, but we're gonna see it a lot tomorrow, and you're also gonna see, or you're gonna see it tomorrow and on Sunday. You're also gonna see Andy Reid going his damn bag this week too, and you're gonna see how an experienced offensive coordinator or Eric Bieniemy, however, whatever they come up with. How Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy work together is how Mike McCarthy and Kellen Moore should have worked together. I guarantee you that was not the relationship between those two. I think Kellen was allowed to do whatever the hell Kellen wanted to do, and it showed. And I was laughing because you were talking about dumbing things down and keeping it simple. And, I know it's not always like that, but why be so complex that you do stupid stuff like have two linemen in the backfield run routes that they ain't getting the damn ball? Why not just get a damn fullback, bro?
Why not get a fullback? Why not? I mean, it's one of those things, bro, that like you said, like it just bothers me because you're at this point, this org is wasting careers.
Yeah.
And hey, I like the promised land for me. I've dummied it down to not even a Super Bowl no more. I just want to see an NFC Championship. Like I linked with some San Fran fans that was at the Cowboys game. They about to go to Green Bay this week. Like they living, bro. I probably would have found a way to get some bread or do something to sold something to get to a Green Bay game. Just, you know what I mean? Like, come on, man. But instead, we home. I'm talking
again.
draft.
Yeah. Hey, have you really started diving into draft talk yet? Because what I told myself I was like, man, I'm not gonna dive into draft talk because we in the Super Bowl hunt. And now I'm depressed.
So I haven't I've dove into a lot of the guards and the linebackers because that's the two positions. Like I said, I want to build his team around Micah, so I want to get him another backer that could play off ball, and Micah can just do what he wants to do, just be a freak. And then we do need a guard because again, I was never sold on Connor Williams. After year 2 on Connor, I just didn't see enough. Like guards, plug and play. Zach Martin, the first day that Zach Martin played football, you knew that he would be in the league for 5 to 7 years. Then you knew at some point this guy's going to be an all-pro.
What about
guards are plug and play? Biotish and Williams stink. You got to replace one of them. Have to.
Yeah, and I think that for me, I'm kind of leaning more towards center because I think at least McGovern, you got another year with him, and maybe a good center comes in and makes him better. Maybe you get a veteran center. I don't know, but Biotish ain't it, bro.
Yeah, no, Biotish. He's a backup. He's not an NFL starter. He doesn't have the strength. It was too many times he's literally walked into Dak's lap. So I'll give him that. But I mean, so it wasn't Biotish wasn't so bad that you couldn't win games because you won 12 of them. But for this quarterback, for this team, you better upgrade that line.
Got to. You have to. You got to. And, this was my solution for the offense. So you weren't on yet. But me and Clarence talk about this all the time. I said, you know what I'm going to do? if I'm Jerry, or if I throw this out to Mike McCarthy, and I might have to swallow my pride. We might got to hit my man Bill Callahan back to come be the OC with West Coast, and we'll run the football, and we'll get with the more than anything we develop the line, because that was the last time really that we were developing the line and they were working as a unit, cohesive
He was
unit.
such a good offensive line coach. We haven't had that continuity since Callahan left
I know, I know,
in the run game and the. We haven't had that continuity, Jay. You're right.
and
I
guess
didn't
what
even think
Cleveland
about that.
does? Guess what Cleveland does? That's what Callahan is. Cleveland runs that football well. The combo blocking. That's one of the better units in the league. That's what my solution would be. Now Mike McCarthy would call the plays, but Callahan is my OC.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I would do it. We would go back to the West Coast, make it so that it's quick, so that Dak then got to make a whole bunch of reads, and
I love quick game.
And we let the defense dictate. We lead. You know what I'm saying? Like
a lot of 3-step drops, a lot of
yeah,
ball out. Mm-hmm. You have the receivers to do it.
Exactly. That's kind of what I was thinking. But
that's a great point, JG. I was thinking, you know what, you spot on. You're not far off from me. I wasn't saying Callahan. I didn't know who I kind of wanted to bring in. I was thinking Joe Brady, but I was thinking about it. What he ran at LSU wouldn't work here. Ran a lot of full verts, a lot of full wide. He ran a lot of slot fade and slot. When he had Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, and he was just on fire with those guys. I do want a OC who can design better runs and who understands run game and leverage, and I think that's what Kyle. That's how he got us, man. And that team, man, San Francisco is going to get housed tomorrow. Housed. Watch what I tell you. Especially if Green Bay scores first, the game's not going to be close.
You want to know something wild? Did you see that meme going around about that Washington staff where they had LaFleur, they had McVay, and they had Kyle Shanahan? All of them know how to diagram the run. All of them, bro. It's crazy.
Dog, like seriously.
Kellen can't. That's my biggest hang up on Kellen is that he can't make adjustments in the run game. He wasn't even a pass game coordinator, bro. He skipped from quarterback coach to calling plays, bro, to running the offense.
Yeah, so many steps. You gave him a Mercedes, dog.
Sean McVay was a damn tight ends coach, bro. He was a tight ends coach under Shanahan, and then eventually worked his way up to calling plays for Gruden, and then he got his team. Like Sean McVay, like those guys. I mean, Kyle Shanahan, if you think about it, really hit the ground. You know what I'm saying? Like they got it out the mud. Kellen really didn't, but Kellen got the credit those guys got. We thought Kellen could be those guys, but he ain't them.
Yeah, for me, it's one of them things. Is like with we need somebody with a scheme who's known for something. I just don't understand now. Kellen, he got on job experience, and I'm sure whatever job he gets that he doesn't deserve, but he'll get it. But no, I don't. Back to your original point. I don't. I don't want to keep Kellen Moore. Nope.
Gotcha. So yeah, that's where I'm at, bro. And we're gonna wrap this up because we wanted to talk about the coaches, and I really wanted to get out. I talked about the free agents that are, with the Cowboys. We talked about that, and then I'm really just gonna dive into it. And on Fridays, I'll probably bring up a couple players. Probably next Friday, I'll talk about areas that we want to hit. You're welcome to come back. We could talk about areas that we want to hit that we think are the priorities for this team. And
let's do it, man. I can't wait. Let's do it.
I definitely appreciate you. And everybody, thank you for tuning in, man. This is the Huddle. I'm gonna try and make this a weekly thing. I'm gonna tune it. I'm gonna stream 10 o'clock sharp right after my guy, Big Mark Holmes does his thing, and we just gonna talk. Gonna have special guests, and we gonna chop it up. And I appreciate everybody for tuning in, man. Thank y'all. Salute, and we out. Oh, my bad. Hey, Foots, where can they find you, brother? Because they probably already subscribed to you anyway. But go ahead, plug yourself.
Man, Cowboys Nation TV. Man, me and JG go back like 4 flats. Great dude, great coach. I'll be on here rocking with him whenever he needs me, if I can make it. But if not, y'all tap right in with him. Very solid person. So, man, just Cowboys Nation TV. Y'all know where I'm at.
All right. Yeah, appreciate everybody. Y'all enjoy y'all Friday nights. I'm about to go, chill with the wife for a little bit. So, all right, y'all. Peace.
Peace.